This is not financial advice, not legal advice, for entertainment, educational purposes only. Anything I say is my opinion. Please don't make any financial decision based on anything I say in these videos. Listen, Peter Hahn, he said something that I had mentioned a few times before. And here's the thing, and this is so clear to the point when we're looking at what's going on with AMC shares, okay? And he said he's been rewatching Narcos Mexico, and watching AMC feels like the DEA agents in Mexico in the early 1980s. You can see the crime, you know who's doing it, you know how to hurt them, but they are protected by corrupt members of the government, and some aspects of the government are actively working against you to protect themselves. And that is what we're seeing in the United States stock market, especially in the AMC play. I mean, this statement is right on point, in my opinion. It describes exactly what's going on with AMC. Everybody sees the fraud and corruption in the market. Everybody knows who's creating these naked shorts. I mean, it's easy to see it with the CAT system and all the other disclosures. But for some reason, even with the obvious level of fraud and corruption the AMC play, our regulatory agencies, our law enforcement agencies are practicing willful blindness to the fraud and corruption in the play. Every single day, millions of counterfeit AMC shares appear out of thin air and are shorted into the market to manipulate the price. And anybody who's paying attention knows exactly what these criminals are doing. Yet the SEC stays quiet, the DOJ stays quiet, the FBI stays quiet. It's absolutely crazy. And you guys know why. First of all, they put protecting the system over protecting retail investors, pension funds, and institutions that follow the rules. But if the ones were losing money from these crimes, because that's what this is criminal activity. If the 1%ers were losing money from this criminal activity, they would have formed a joint task force with the FBI, the SEC, the DOJ. There would have been no stone unturned to find out who was manipulating the market and bringing them to court and holding them accountable. But because the ones losing money are retail investors, pension funds, and institutions that follow the rules, the SEC practices willful blindness. The DOJ practices willful blindness. The FBI practices willful blindness. They ignore the fraud and corruption that's going on right in front of their face. There's absolutely no explanation for the level of criminality in the AMC play, and the bad actors don't even try to hide it anymore. You saw what they did. You saw my previous video. They had AMC end at 271 for 4 consecutive trading days. Obvious manipulation, yet somehow SEC hasn't said a word. DOJ hasn't said a word. FBI hasn't said a word. Even though they are obligated to investigate obvious fraud in our markets. Anyway, please leave some comments. Tell me what you think. Do you think that watching the AMC play is like the DEA agents in Mexico in the early 1980s?